right, so let's get into it. Rashida Tlaib is around the community doing a lot of different things. She's attending luncheons, town halls. Um, she's attending floor meetings for the Congress. She's participating in initiatives. Um, but this right here, this caught my eye. Congress must take action on gun violence. I'm hoping that, what's happening in Chicago doesn't spill over into what's going on in Detroit. People are leaving Chicago. They're going to Nevada. They're going to California. They're going to Texas. They're going to Mississippi. They're going to New York. They're going to Michigan. I'm hoping it doesn't spill over into places like Detroit. Um, I contacted Rashida Tlaib not too long ago, and what I contacted her about was what happened with Jordan Neely. I wanted her to do something as far as um, immigration goes. I didn't hear back from her, and that was a national concern. Um, that was a concern as far as immigration, and that was also a concern as far as mental health. I didn't hear back from her. Let's face it, like, people buy these guns in the community, they go home and they sell them to people on the street. This is what people do. Um, this happens a lot in places like Michigan, because Michigan they're known heavily for trafficking firearms. People buy these guns at auctions and they sell them off instead of returning them to the local precinct or the local sheriff office or the local the local well I would just say the sheriff office. Um, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen in the following year. I feel like domestic security, social, our social awareness. I feel like it's very weak right now. I don't like the way the streets look. You know, there's like a hopelessness lingering over my head when I go out into the streets and I see people. Um, I don't want to see these young people grow up and they go out into the community and the community sees them and like there's not a spirit accept like, an accepting spirit for them. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know what more she can do. Someone just got shot on 6 Mile and Lodge. Um, Basically shoplifting at a gas station. Wherever Detroit, they came out and they got the place shut down. But what did you expect? I didn't hear Rashida Tlaib talk about what happened there. You know, she's over a district that has many different nationalities in it. And the black people in the district, they pretty much are left alone. Black people are on one side of the district, and the rest is just like Caucasians and Arabs, and Chaldeans who are basically Christians. Um, you see the people holding these signs. We can end gun violence. Hey, I hope, if we can end gun violence, that is a start. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because Congress, they're playing pity pat on the Congress floor. Um, when I see these church members go to church every Sunday, they go to church meetings every Friday. they're not going to the streets. They're not going to talk to the streets. They're going into the church where it's an enclave and it's safe. Um, no one goes to these churches and say, you know what, I'm going to get input from the local deacon or the local uh, deacons or whatever. I don't see people saying we want to get the church involved. You know, Rashida Tlaib has to get a stronger tie as far as with the religious organization. She has to because again, the only way we're going to stop gun violence is if everyone is, you know, announced at the table. The church right now, they're nowhere to be seen. I don't see her reaching out to the church, you know, and if she is, again, I don't see the church, you know. I was just saying is I said, you know, I want a white congregation somewhere in northern Indiana, where I can lead a church. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm thinking about doing. Um, because I see one thing with the church. If you're able to, you know, get land or whatnot, the church they will. You can get funding. You can get free funding to build a church, to gather the locals. You can do that, you know. And I heard an African lady saying that she want to buy land in Washington and build a church. You know, so I think like if I could do something like that, that'd be great. Because again, like I want to reach out to communities. I want to reach out to communities where it is safe, where the people are um, very faithful in their beliefs. They have traditional values. Um, like if you can meet a people, whether they be older in age, whether they be the same demographic or not, you want to make sure that they have traditions and values. I don't think black people have tradition and values right now. I don't think they do. Um, I just don't think they do. And like, it says right here, if Social Security can expand, right? What if they can get, $2,400 um, a month for, seniors, young people who can't find jobs. This is the stuff that I want to see. And this is the stuff I want to see Rashida Tlaib talk about. I know she wants to talk about what's going on in Gaza. I understand this. But she has to understand young people in Detroit need leadership too. And you're holding their resources. You can't hold their resources and talk about something that's going on the other side of the world. I don't want to hear about what's going on in Palestine. That's a different um, monster, if you will. That's a different monster. I don't want to hear about what Netanyahu next move is. I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about Assad. Because again, like, we have our own Assad here. When you look at the mayoral office, the candidates for the mayoral race, for the candidates for the governor race, we have our own Assads here. I don't want to hear about a mother in Palestine not being able to walk to a market because she's in fear that Israeli soldiers are going to arrest her. I don't want to hear about that. Let those people deal with that in their own time and manner. We have kids who can't go outside and play in Detroit. You see what I mean? And Rashida Tlaib, she understands what we go through, but again, like she's not getting us the right representation. All these teenagers came out to support a photo op, that she's in. But none of these teenagers are going to have a future in Detroit. Half of them are going to be gone in the next 10 years, either by gun violence or um, resettlement. You know what I mean? A lot of these cheers, like I heard heard a young lady. She was like 22, 23, and she was telling me she was like, my family moved from Detroit to Chicago, and I was wondering like why would her parents do that? You know what I mean? Like Chicago is not a place where you take teenagers, and it's always been that way. Teenagers have to deal with gun violence in Chicago. They have to deal with peer pressure, as far as joining gangs, as far as clothing and designing. They have to deal with all that commodity. So when we're looking at this and we're trying to understand uh, what is going on, Rashida Tlaib, she has to be influential. She have to be, and I think she can do this. And I think it's going to take some guts. I think it's going to take some. Um, I think it's going to take a lot of ownership. So understand me when I say that. I want to see her, do more for the people here. And I'm sorry to I'm sorry to hear that people in Palestine are going through a hardship, but we got to take care of home first. You see, great peace, Yakoki.